Welcome back to this course, Introduction to Java Programming. This is a presentation of coding boot camps. This is session 4, and we are going to discuss flow control. This session will be broken into 3 separate videos. Just to recap, we talked about computer architecture, we talked about tiers for applications, we talked about installing our IDE, we talked about classes, what classes are, how classes and objects are related. Again, they're very closely related, and how we can call methods and actually return data on from classes using objects. And now with this video, we are going to give our introduction here to our remaining videos. We're going to talk about conditional constructs. Then we're going to go into looping constructs, controlled repetition, and then sentinel controlled repetition, nested control constructs, break and continue statements, and structured programming best practices. Our material will be the current PowerPoint slides you're using and any lab reference materials. So let's take a look here at conditional constructs, and this is what we'll be covering in this video. So Java uses Boolean variables to evaluate conditions. So what Java will do is test for a certain condition and look for that condition to return either true or false. So if we look at this example here, and this is a typical example. We can see here our a variable is equal to 4, and then down here with this if statement, with an if, you'll see there is a condition to evaluate, and then there is a block of code. If the condition is true, the block of code executes. If the condition is false, the block of code is skipped. So right here we are evaluating, and with the double equals, that is a test to see if a is actually equal to 4, and this is the Boolean type of evaluation. And if this is true, this block of code will evaluate. And we know that a is indeed equal to 4, therefore this expression is true, and the code block will execute. And there aren't many operators for Java in the conditional statements, and most of them are pretty straightforward. If you're familiar certainly with C++, if you're familiar with .NET, if you're familiar with Python or PHP or JavaScript, the conditions and evaluations and if statements and other looping statements are very, very similar, if not identical. Let's take a look here. So if we have this current condition where a equals 4 and b equals 5, we can take a look at these results as we evaluate. We're testing here if a is less than b, and that is obviously true. We're testing here if a is greater than b, and that's false. And you can see here we are testing if a is less than or equal to 4, and that's going to return a true. We can go through here, is b greater than or equal to 6? That's going to be a false. And right here we have a not equal. So we're testing here for equality. A is not equal to b, we're getting false, but here we're getting not equal. So the bang and the equal is not equal. And that's the same as the languages that we just talked about as other computing languages. And in this case, that condition is true. Then there's the logical OR. With the logical OR, our expression is actually in 2 parts. And with an OR, only one part of the expression has to be true for the whole expression to be true. So in this case, we look here, A is not greater than b. This part of the expression is false, but a is less than b. So the right side of the expression is true, so the whole expression is true. That's why we're getting a true back. And now we have what's called a logical AND. And with a logical AND, the whole expression must be true in order, or both sides of the expression must be true in order for the whole expression to be true. So here a is greater than 3. We know that because a is equal to 4, and a has to be less than 6. And we know that to be the case as well. So both parts of this expression are true. The whole expression is true, so that's why we're getting the true. So again, we are looking for that bang for negation. And then we have the if then else. So we briefly talked about what happens if our if expression, the expression we have in our if block, is false. The code block immediately following the if expression is not executed. We can have an optional else statement that so something will run then. So here, if this expression returns false, the first part here will be skipped, but then the else will execute. If it were true, the first part of this if block would execute, and the else would be skipped. So we're going to have a lab on this. So please, when you get a chance, please go through the lab and stay tuned for our next video where we are going to discuss looping.